Isn't it beautiful when things just come together?
Time's gone inside out.
Build a beautiful website with Squarespace.
Time gets to start again.
Blog Talk Radio.
King Boom.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it.
Dirty Moors still attempt to infiltrate the order. Active Moors are truth and take it to the corners. Across highways, past hedges and through borders. Move on dirty Moors like broken dam waters. Watch out for agents and provocateurs trying to get next to their heads with the doctor's cures. They never pay dues and don't pay dues. Contradicting with King Alfred to give clues like news. Noble Drew Ali died from Palemore blues. Prophet saved him his money before the floor fell through, and that's true. Even though I don't have proof, selling memory tells me don't fall for spook. Drop mental nukes, hanging from their own vine from the fig tree, looking up at them like Big B. No white flag or mercy for you fags. 5 point and pentagram is on our flag. Green, but not for cream. That dirty Moors took to throw off the balance of the Grand Treasury books, getting offers like high school ballers. Those that infiltrate are not Moors but robbers, robbing the people blind, deaf, dumb, and crippled. They can't tear this up, not one drop or trickle. No matter how hard they try to perpetrate the fraud, dirty Moors always fall on their sword.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it.
Me nah play with uno so simmer and easy. From 19 how long, me see it's sleazy. So sick it's measly and disgusting. Everyone stood there, the Moors did nothing when Drew was attacked. They took the covenant that they will protect him and have his back. Behind on dues by 4 months, going to kangaroo courts to perform stunts. Temples versus temples, lawsuits from inner fights, not doing their job. 3,500 for birthright. Mufti Force left supposed to be in Gucci stores. We've gotta thank Allah for the Sufi Moors and Buddhist Nagas. Moorish Mike Renaissance, not rap sagas. Confusion clearer, empty battle scar wearer. Moorish nationality declarer. Straighten out the crooked ways, rap conduct squarer.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it.
Let me strip them down, I'm the bone bearer. Negro, black, colored, minority, death preparer. Not the being, but the label attached. See me like Martin, going crazy, waving gas. Cause you call yourself black, that's a kick me sign on your life. Can't stab your enemy holding the blade of the knife. Numbskull MCs flow so dull that I'm pulling down Orishas like skull caps to torture the rapper, scissor sippers. Rapper, CD scratcher, insert ripper. Call me Jack and get slapped though. Admiral when I flow, major like macro. Don't spit on a cameraman like Pac will, but beat the case like Black Bill, but no lawyer. Ask Jim Carrey, liar, liars do nothing for you while they get rich and poor you. Make you follow magistrate orders that get the coke to snort from wood corners and block ghetto. All I see is rappers, dress codes, repetto, tight shirts, skinny jeans looking like heavy metal bands. I'm not Bay but L like Gred and Hands. I grab mics, no sweat in hands, with birthright brands. I don't worry about getting scanned.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what true our leaders started dropping it.
What up?
Islam, peace and love, family. I am Miss Raheem, I left ill, along with my co-host, Cujo, IYL, Grand Sheik, Noble. Are you with us?
Islam, Noble. Once again.
Yeah, Islam, peace. All right, before we even go in, know it was like a long day. I know we know what it is. It was a real long day, and just still happy to be here, to say the least. So we're gonna go in on a few things, but just a big fat acknowledgement to all the Moors that declared their nationality and are declaring their nationality, and just getting active everywhere, everybody in love, man. You know, it's always something new going on. I know you might have some things to preface with. Also, you know, well, I'm gonna yield the floor to you for right now, but I know there's a lot to discuss regardless.
Islam. Yeah, we just wanted to also say Islam to the Moors that will proclaim their nationality. You know, the ones that are way down there looking at this beacon that we're beaming right here. You know, because it's going on right now. You know, we got a contact today from a brother that's from so-called Haiti that's, you know, realizing what's up, you know, realizing that he's American, he's not Haitian, wanting to take the steps because, you know, the U.S democracy pressure cooker is pretty much about to bust right now. You know, the U.S pressure cooker, if anybody ever cook with a pressure cooker, you know that you have to run the water on it before you try to open it. And there's people messing with this handle of this pressure cooker called the U.S democracy that's been on high. You know, illusion of high, but they've been on high. And that time is coming now when it's going to be all about, are you going to be able to make a claim? You know, not even from the perspective of, you know, the legwork, you know, like writs and knowing what to put on the envelope or whatever, but being able to tap into the spiritual forces that are on the planet right now, waiting to assist us. But just like everything else, if your status is dead in law, which, you know, law is from the divine down to what we have. So if your status is dead in law, absolutely no chance, because it's bigger than the body.
Right.
It's bigger than, you know, putting your hand out and writing something on a piece of paper and then transferring that to whatever medium so you could print it out. Way bigger than that. Don't get caught up, because we're also getting a lot of calls too with people, you know, wanting to, how to do the paperwork. You know, don't get caught up in looking at the things that are in front of your face. You know, it's like when we read the Quran, for example, you know, Holy Quran. We're not talking about, you know, when we say Quran, we're talking about our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's lines between the lines between the lines between the lines.
Mm-hmm.
If you think what you just read is what it is, you just cheated yourself a few thousand years of information.
Word.
Which is why Drew Ali said study, which is, you know, what we wanted to talk about with regard to people out there who are studying, and they're considered by, you know, society as reputable. You know what I mean? Regardless of whether they're corporate or de jure or whatever is irrelevant. You know what I mean? These individuals, people know them. And they're presenting things to see if the people study. They're putting things out there using their propaganda machines to see where the people are at. It's nothing new. They've been doing that.
Right.
But it's end game right now. Right? Like when we say Constitution was their defeat. Constitution was their humbling. You know what I mean? And then you have this weekend right here, you have the Pope coming up to put some more seals of approval on what the Moors been telling people. People's corporate, Pope's writing Obama, telling him about his United States corporation. And then that's public record for anybody in the world who wants to go. You just go onto the Pope's website and just read the letters that he's putting out. That's on the Pope's website. Not what Moors say. On the Pope's website, verifying everything that the Moors have been telling people. Everything. They're not even holding back nothing anymore. But now people don't want to be Moors. They want to play around.
Hold on. Did he use the language verbatim, your United States Corporation? That's what he said?
Listen. These everybody is about escaping the law of retribution right now. Intelligent people. Intelligent people know right now that if you're not in line with nature and divine whatever, the judgment that you're going to get on the earth's plane, you're not even going to be able to comprehend what's going on to you.
Right. Indeed.
Because remember, priesthood is dead. So if the priesthood's dead, nature is taking over now. We're not talking about some people who have YouTube videos and stuff like that, misleading people. What about people who got buildings and they got 1,000 people in the stands and then the women over here and the men over here and they're playing the game? About middleman. Because all those people who call themselves head or whatever, remember, they're Masons, they know about Moors, they know about all the stuff that they're not telling the people who's in the public that's following them to Washington and all that to go march. They got nationality if something goes down. They got nationality. They have their shield. Are they telling the people to get their shield nationality? No, I don't think so. Because it's all about somebody has to take the blow when nature's going to drop it. You talking about new world order and system crashing? You worry about system crashing? You better worry about telling you. You see people falling in cracks and stuff, you realize what's going on. You think there's some joke going on right now. And the only savior that you have is birthrights, knowing. The only priest is within. The only God is within. The only holy book is within.
Right.
Everything exterior is being demolished right now. Everything exterior is being obliterated. I don't care if you see it in front of you. That might not be what you're looking at.
Right. Which goes back to perspective, right? You could be looking at something and not see the symbology in it or what it actually represents. And if I could just add on what you were saying, just simply because we had this conversation earlier when you was talking about tapping into the universal energy and back with nature, you know what I mean? I was riding with an elder, not old, but he was an elder person, older than me to say the least, by a couple decades, and he was acknowledging in our travels, you know what I'm saying? Like places that are Wi-Fi and places that are not. And he took the time to mention, he was like, you know, some places you go, the whole city is Wi-Fi. I mean, not that I didn't know, or so-called city anyway, or area is Wi-Fi. And I'm like, yeah, but what that goes to show is that there's, electrical grids you don't see that's going on all around people, you know what I mean, to even connect. And that just correlates with what you were saying about tapping into, that energy as far as nature, A lot of signs are very clear. And, there's still some things you don't see that have force or effect in a certain aspect. So that goes back to what you were saying about, the holy book being you. All of these different things come from a internal reflection, if you will, that was manifested as messages, perpetual messages or spells, if you will. But when you see them, you be like, yeah, I knew that already. It just was a external affirmation or attestation to what you already have within. And I just wanted to correlate that to what you were saying about, you know what I mean, tapping into that natural energy. And I'm not saying, I'm perfect or a saint or anything like that. I'm just saying it's real. It's always there. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to know it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's like grids and all of that, pipelines and things of that nature, if you will, that's like energy that you don't see all around you, but yet it's there. You know it is. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely, man. And you mentioned something about Haiti, about a brethren from Haiti. You know what I mean? And, when you look at, like, the, quote, history of them trying to enslave Moors, or Moors trying to enslave Moors, Europeans enslaving Moors, Moors enslaving Moors, like, we got to keep in mind that, like, that's an institution. It's a business, you know what I mean? Like, that they made billions off of flesh, cows, humans, horses, you know what I mean, chickens, fish, all of this, you know what I mean? The flesh is an industry. And just that servitude, slavery industry, you got to remember from so-called Haiti, like Saint Lavator, what those Moors did that they call Haitians, that shook that whole institution. It really shook that whole institution of what you call, well, slavery, because Moors wasn't trying to have that, you know what I'm saying, and still not. Nobody is, you know what I mean? But because, according to Noble Drew Ali, the reason why everybody's, went through quote-unquote slavery or servitude, because we're not really slaves or peonage, is because they didn't honor the principles of their foremothers or forefathers. That's the message that he left. You got to think about that. How would that happen? You know what I mean? If you follow the customs of another nation, or they impress those upon you, you kind of lose something of, you don't lose yourself, but just your culture, your heritage. It's so, it's like saying if you take a snake or a wild animal, any wild animal, and take him out of his natural habitat, you know what I mean? Basically, it's a slave. It doesn't carry its own nature anymore. So it can't do what it naturally would do without, an external influence. So when you compare that in the essence to, who we are, if we're not doing what we can naturally do, which is being connected to the land and different aspects of art, just different things, so many different things. And we follow European customs, that alone could cause slavery or servitude. You know what I mean? In its own way. Because it's like, if you don't follow, you know what I mean? If you don't follow your customs, it's like that shield you was talking about of nationality. You know what I'm saying? It's not there. It's not your own thing, and that's really what it boils down to. Again, just to add on. So yeah, Moor, that's definitely the truth.
Yeah.
In conjunction with that, there's a lot going on right now about just everywhere, you know what I'm saying? immigrants, so-called immigrants and everything coming to the land. And we're going to get into something about that a little later. You know, just a big reference from Anna Eve that put us on earlier. We could play that in a little while or whenever, and then basically, you know, go in a little bit and hear from the people, you know.
Islam.
That's basically this, but I know you got something to add on before we do that.
Oh no, you can go ahead with that. You can go ahead with that because that was some interesting words, you know, because again the scene is set, right? The scene is set for the Moors to play their part. The scene is set. All the Moors have to do is play their part, you know, and their part is what Juali said to do since 1913, enforce the Constitution. Because through its enforcement, these people are stalled. Through its enforcement, they have to get right. If we don't enforce, then they run loose. Right? And check the record. Moors are the ones that's supposed to be enforcing the Constitution. They're not doing it, so why should anybody else? And they have one or two people here that, you know what I mean? You have one or two people that come out and say something, like we talk about all the time. Oscar the Priest told them. Martin Luther King told them. You know what I mean? It's not like they don't know those people. They know them. And those individuals spoke from a constitutional perspective. You know, anybody who you can say U.S. had a hand in assassinating, whether it's through CIA, FBI, whatever, those individuals were teaching some type of constitutional government by the people perspective. And it's the time is ripe right now for picking. But are the Moors really in tune with what they have? And not only in tune with what they have, but the fact that it was brought to them by somebody that was sent by the ancestors with what they needed. Are you really going to see it for what it is? You know what I mean? Because in 2006, 2007, right before we got into this information, we were on the Vodun hard. We were going down to the river, making our, you know what I mean, offerings to the ancestors. We were going down to the lake. We were, you know what I mean, like we were on it hard. And a sister who used to go into trance told us that there's something that is allowing the ancestors to not throw in the towel on our people and abandon them forever. There's something.
True.
And that thing that it is, you're going to be part of it.
Indeed.
And then a few months later, came into the Moorish movement and realized that that's the thing. You know what I mean? Everything that it has to offer is for the betterment of not only our people, but humanity, mankind as a whole. Because everybody, it's not a secret that every single type of religion, school of thought, social status, economic status, whatever, lived in harmony under the Moors. There was so-called people who were against the Moors that were down with living under the rule of the Moors. Because now you have public baths, and now you have air conditioning, and you go in the room and it smells like flowers inside, not in some metal.
Right.
And they don't got, they're not fighting with wood, they're fighting with, you know what I mean, real stuff. You know,
right.
There's schools everywhere, the same place where they worship is the same place they went to school.
That's interesting you say that, you know what I mean, because there's like a lot of old Moorish buildings that, you know, used to be temples and schools, you know what I mean, that basically the Christians just took over, and now they churches, or, you know what I'm saying, you'll see like a small church next to like a old imperial type of building, you know what I mean, but that lets you know those was like old Moorish institutions, because you could tell by the architecture, you know what I'm saying? And I look and I be like, damn, I know we had a lot of schools, a lot of home schools, but also a lot of institutions. Like, what's up with all these old, you know, Ionic type architect buildings, you know? And it just make me think like, yo, there's been a lot, you know what I'm saying, a lot of cover-ups going on, and it's really interesting. You know what I mean? Like, they took over a lot. I mean, just like the so-called land. I mean, you know, how they so-called took over the land. You know, they tried to take over things that went with it. But, again, like you were saying, it's something about the ancestors that just won't let us give up. Like, they won't throw in the towel. Or the universal energy won't throw in the towel. Because, you know, everything is interrelated. Every living thing is connected. So, therefore, you know, it's a universal energy as well that's just not, you know, that's guiding us to the way that it's going. And, yeah, that's really interesting. Like you said, man, it's a lot
No,
to
sorry.
reflect.
Go ahead.
My fault. Go ahead, Moor.
No, because I was just going to add on that something just came to my mind that, you know, in what you're saying, you know, we were talking about this in class few days ago, or the class before that. People, like just now you made the reference of, you know, everything's tied to each other, everything's bound to each other, right?
Yeah.
We have to realize that you know, that's an example of what Noble Drew Ali meant by imitate I the Prophet. Because what you said is directly in the literature. That it's become part of you, how you put it out there. That somebody listening, they don't know that what page that comes from in the Quran.
Gotcha.
But it's so part of you that you're speaking it like it's your words.
Right. I understand.
The same way that he spoke it like it was his words, but he was getting that from a source.
Yeah. That's why we stay trying to give reference points like all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the reason why I brought up the Quran is for if people don't know, to go on the Canaan Land Moors page on YouTube and search the audio of the Holy Quran. Because I don't think I ever put it out there yet for people to know that we have an audio version of the Quran on YouTube.
True.
Right?
True. Mm-hmm.
So that you can have your Quran with you at all times. And you don't have to look down at the book and crash your car. Do it like all the other stuff download it as MP3 and put it in your phone or whatever. Because you need to have what Drew Ali left for you with you.
Word, and just for the record, that came from chapter 3, number 2 of the Circle 7. No man lives unto himself, for every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. Absolutely.
Islam.
Indeed. So let's get a little bit more into what's going on today. All right, again, big acknowledgement to Anna E for putting us on to this reference. I'm gonna just go ahead and play this clip now. And I can't call everything about it, but it just blatantly speaks for itself. So let's just listen to these words. I'm thankful to be put on to this. I just want to share it with everybody else. This is Michelle Obama's speech on immigration. So let's do it. All right, this is what she had to say.
It's amazing that just a few feet from here where I'm standing are the signatures of the 56 founders who put their names on a declaration that changed the course of history. And like the 50 of you, none of them were born American. They became American. Just like you're about to pledge allegiance to our flag, they pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to this extraordinary idea that we now know as America. The notion that we are all created equal, endowed with fundamental rights and freedoms that no one can ever take away from us. People come from across the globe to see these documents, to read the names and signatures of the very first Americans by choice, because they know that this room holds the first chapter of our shared history. And today, it holds the next chapter of our story as well. As the newest Americans by choice, you too will play an important part in shaping our history. Some of you were brought here as children. Others came here to be with a loved one. Some of you, like Moorish Sopkota, have risked their lives for this country by serving overseas. Others haven't worn the uniform themselves but have served America by supporting a spouse or a child who has. Take Blue Star mom Zlatka Stefanova. Her son Marion was wounded in an ambush in Iraq. He spent 18 months at Walter Reed recovering from his injuries. And today, with the love and support of his mother, Marion is a proud officer in the Fairfax Police Department. But no matter what your story, from this day forward for the rest of your lives, you will always be able to say, yes, I am an American citizen. And I know this is an exciting, hopeful time for all of you, but it's also an exciting, hopeful time for our country. Because the fact is, America needs you. Immigration is at the heart of how we develop as a nation. In every generation, immigrants have earned their place as part of we, the people. With the exception of just a few ethnicities, every person in this country can trace their history back to a parent or a grandparent or a great-grandparent or an ancestor who made that choice to be part of this country. And today, much of our success is because we still very much are a nation of immigrants. Immigrants start roughly 1 in 4 of our new businesses. About 30,000 permanent residents serve in our military. And according to one study, over the past 50 years, more than a quarter of our Nobel laureates based in the U.S. have been foreign-born. So in many ways, it is because of, not in spite of, our immigrant population that we grow stronger every single day. Yet, today here in Washington, folks are still debating whether or not to fix our immigration system, even though just about everyone agrees that it is broken. But I want you all to know that my husband has made this his top legislative priority, and he refuses to give up the fight, because at the end of the day, this fight isn't just about abstract principles. It's about real people. People like you. People like us. Our fellow Americans. That's who you are. You came here today as citizens of 44 different countries, and you'll leave here as citizens of one great nation, the United States of America. And I hope that you never take that for granted, because I know how hard you worked for this. You earned it. And to be a citizen of this country is an incredible blessing. And what I hope you always remember is that as citizens, we do not shut the doors of opportunity behind us. We preserve the promise of America. We renew it. We extend it so that future generations of Americans, Americans by birth and Americans by choice, can do their part to form the more perfect union that our founders imagined so many years ago.
They said Americans by birth and Americans by choice. Now that it's a lot of refinement that could be added in there, but they let you know there's a fine distinguishment, because like she said earlier in the little dispensation, that they could say that they're American citizens, and it's true, but it doesn't necessarily make them Americans. But then again, you got to keep in mind too that it's a difference between the American citizen and the United States of America, as she said. So Americans by birth and Americans by choice, that would be the lineage by birth. The choice would be the naturalized people, or those who pledge their allegiance to the Republic, though, not necessarily the Star-Spangled Banner, because the Republic is for what it stands for. Like, that's the reason it stands, is because of the Republic. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, there was a lot of, it was very plain, it was very, very clear, but also catch the refinement. We know that being the true Aboriginal Americans, that we have ancestors who populated the globe everywhere before the Europeans even knew how to sail. So it's nothing wrong with traveling and populating everywhere, but that wouldn't necessarily make us, quote, immigrants, because we're the Aboriginal people of the planet. So, yeah, we have ancestors in what they call China today, what they call, Africa today, in Europe and America, but it goes to show, like, the history reflects we were everywhere first. So that's nothing like we couldn't be considered immigrants. Them, on the other hand, they can't, and this is the interesting thing to me, like, you can't choose to be an American. Like, you can't choose to be a Chinese. Like, you're born that. You can choose your citizenship in that fashion. You know what I mean? Like, you could choose to, have allegiance to China or Ireland or wherever it is you may domicile. But your nationality is definitely not a lineal choice, because there's nobody who could change the descent nature of man, as Noble Drew Ali said in the Circle 7. Did we really need him to say that for it to be a fact? No, but he did acknowledge the fact, and it makes a lot of sense when you apply it to the true politics and real history, as far as territorial jurisdiction. So with that being said, that goes back to those people who was who were being, quote unquote, moved as refugees from out of Syria, Germany, and other places. and things of that nature. You know, they sent them over here, so it's like, you know, it's an interesting situation that's going on. But bro, I definitely would like to hear your thoughts on this subject as well. You know.
Well, one of the interesting things on the video is not really the video, but the stuff that is in the media about this naturalization ceremony, where she's trying to imply that the founding fathers aren't American. You know, and they're going on the angle of, you know, did she really mean that they're not American or that they weren't born in America? Like, how could they not be American? They're born in America. You know, so-and-so was born in Pennsylvania, and so-and-so was born in Virginia, and so-and-so was born in, you know, Massachusetts, whatever. So, I mean, she knows this. Or, you know, maybe she doesn't really know this because, you know, she is a Harvard graduate, and, you know, people who go to Harvard, they get the cakewalk or whatever, right?
Right.
So they're killing her on this thing, right? They're killing her. And it's like, you know, like you're saying, with what's being said, you know, is to let the people know where they are in their frame of mind and how they're looking at this. That she's going to go as far back as to, she didn't even start with founding fathers of George Washington or whatever. She said founding fathers and said 56 signers of the Declaration.
Right.
Which means she's even taking you into Continental Congress and all that.
Mm-hmm.
She's taking you before the establishment. She's not just talking about, you know, because, again, using the words, dumb people, you say founding fathers, they start at first president.
Right.
They don't even try anything before that. So it's even things like with their little speech writers or whatever, that they make sure that they speak, you know, a little bit behind the line, so that people don't really you know, the masses don't really understand what's going on. But thinking competent people back her in her position. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, yeah, there's some things that need to get cleared up or whatever. But, you know, the reality is that the Aboriginals are the copper-colored people. And if you're not copper-colored, then you're immigrant. If you come from somewhere else over here, you're immigrant.
Right.
You know, and the only way that you can be part of over here is if you naturalize. And then they're doing the naturalization ceremony speech at the National Archives building. Right? So, you know, like, they're bringing people in, you know, and I'm pretty sure that, you know, they have the tour and all that stuff, you know what I mean, so people could get familiar, you know, with, you know, the history of what they're becoming a citizen of. You know, naturalization. But they're clearly letting you know that it's for foreigners, which now brings us into it now, that they're admitting that immigrants are the ones that naturalize. Negro, black, colored people aren't immigrants. Negro, black, colored people, or people classified as Negro, black, colored people, or so-called Negro, black, colored people, are a denationalized people. They were stripped of their birthright. They're not foreign to here. So she's even putting out, for those individuals who want to play this game like indigenous people have to naturalize in order to be nationals or to be a citizen.
Right, yeah, that's it. Really.
You know what I mean? Because this is the naturalization ceremony. This is the naturalization ceremony. Right? Why is she talking about founding fathers at a naturalization ceremony? Because they had to naturalize.
Right.
In order to say that they are whatever. Who naturalized them? The Continental Congress, who were the government before the government that people say is the real government.
Right. Indeed.
And what was their naturalization ceremony? Going through the Masonic Lodge. Going to the Longhouse. And learning what it means to run government. Or getting the tour of the vast estate of the Moors. And now you're qualified to be citizen, and now you can go over there, set up your little shop over there, do your little thing, stay in your corner. You can go over there, you know what I mean? You guys can't do any treaties with anybody or anything like that. Eastern Seaboard, that's it. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to be in the mainland.
Right. Indeed.
Right? That's why they kept them at the seaboard. Because they're naturalized. They're foreigners. So anytime they violate, go on the boat and you go back to where you come from.
Yeah, it's right there. You know,
right there.
Yeah. You know, you're definitely not that far from them waters.
Definitely not far. You know? And with remember that the so-called passport is not going to say American citizen. It's going to say U.S.
Right.
Remember, all the documents that whatever is not going to say American citizen. It's going to say U.S. But she's saying American. So, you know, like, what perspective is she coming from?
I think it was real clear that American by birth, American by choice. I don't think it gets any clearer than that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she said now you can say you're
skipping and jumping.
Say that again, bro.
No, she's not skipping around. She's saying it for what it is.
Yeah, truth indeed. That was really just what it is, and it's just rare you hear them speaking like that, if you will, you know. But that being the case, man, I mean, it's just a clear sign that, you know, the truth has to come to light, man. And again, you know, like, they really don't have that jurisdiction to naturalize, like, not the corporation. They don't. You know what I'm saying? But American citizens. But the corporate USA citizens, like, they got jurisdiction for that. And not even really, honestly, they don't. They really don't, because they still using the deception of, you know, becoming a citizen of a landmass opposed to a corporation. And that's not true. Like, it's actually, they became members of the corporation. They just took personam jurisdiction. Basically, y'all refugees, you know, you don't have any homeland to be in, or y'all got kicked out, or whatever it is. We'll take personam jurisdiction and you can come stay at our house type of thing. When it's really not their house. You know what I'm saying? That's more bodies to count. To human traffic or make finance off of, why not? For them, that's the business they into. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Some of the family right here from Mexico, Mexicans, you know, they're not even trying to hear it. Like, you know, they'll deny them quick. Not that, you know, not that they won't get it done, but I'm just saying they consider them, you know, foreigners and immigrants and all of this when that's bull, yo. That's bull. They the true foreigners. Again, you know, it just goes to show the fraud. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, it really does. But
no. So there was one article that I read by Where's the name at? The website is snopes.com, snopes.com, right? And this is what they said at the end of their article. The First Lady said, in reference to the Founding Fathers, that none of them were born American. They became American. And in the original context, the meaning of that statement was perfectly clear. What Michelle Obama was communicating on that occasion was a distinction between geography and nationality. She did not say that the Founding Fathers were born somewhere other than America, but rather that they did not start out their lives in a fully formed and established nation known as quote-unquote America, complete with its own history, customs, culture, and values as modern American children are. Rather, our forefathers were born into a very different world as British subjects in a colonial empire, and they chose to seek new opportunities and lives for themselves by transforming their world into something distinctive, just as modern immigrants born outside of America choose to transform their worlds by opting to leave their homelands for America and seek new lives through becoming U.S. citizens. Not by becoming American citizens, but by becoming U.S. citizens.
Right.
And America is the veil. When they say America, it's for the people who are coming in, the people who are being naturalized, to be under the assumption that they're a citizen. Not letting them know that they're selling them out to the U.S. corporation through their corporation that has, contracts that they can transfer their property back and forth under the guise of citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Or what Mother Annie always alludes to, human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Trafficking in humans from country to country, which are really corporations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Actually telling somebody, come on over here and be an American. And then they say, yeah, because we heard about America and, land of the free and all that. And then they get here and all their stuff says, you that a citizen.
Right. Yeah. It's a fine distinguishment. And that's why you gotta know the history, When you talk about the founding fathers and whatnot, because it brings you back to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, really. You know what I mean? Like that history about the United States and how it's really a corporation, a Christian company. Now these people are coming from Muslim lands. You understand what I'm saying? To become a part of a Christian company. Like that's really what it is. You know what I mean? And it's the truth. So but I think, I don't know, a lot of people know the history, but a lot of people are being deceived too. So they might not know the difference. You know what I mean? Like they just think it is what it is. Or do things out of necessity. You know what I mean? Because they're in a situation, I don't know all the proprieties and details of, you know what I mean? But sometimes things are done out of necessity. Sometimes things are done in coercion. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Regardless of what, the law of nature doesn't change, and that can't really change their descent nature, but it does have an effect on their civil status as far as contracts and whatnot, interfacing and things of that nature. Not that it's binding, because it's not full disclosure, but it is what it is. But, bro, we got a couple of hands up, right?
All right, that's peace. All right.
So first, let me start. All right. Rahima. Peace and love. You live on the air. You with us?
Oh, my goodness. Yes, I am with you. Thank you. I'm telling you, listen, this is, Michelle Obama was really putting it down, and let's not forget, I don't have the exact one, but Barack Obama, in I believe it was his first address to the Union, or it was on immigration. I heard him say the same thing to these Europeans. Wait a minute, you were but immigrants yourself. And see, this is so important for us to really recognize is that when Michelle was talking, or when anyone is talking, if someone becomes an American citizen, they're not the American. They are a citizen of various ranks. Now, this is the reason why Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, enforce the law of your land so that you are not molested by who? Other citizens. Many people don't take into consideration who these other citizens are. Those would be those that are naturalizing, as these people were that she was addressing, and as those people who wrote the Declaration of Independence, or who signed on to the Declaration of Independence, they also were naturalizing, being brought into the constitutional fold of government on this land, our land. So when she's speaking from America, they are Americans by birthright, which is what this is all about. All right, and then there are those who become Americans by choice, which means they're not by birth. She couldn't have made it any clearer than that. They are not by birth. They are the ones that came over on boats through Ellis Island. They're the group of people she's talking to that were being naturalized. They are the 57 people who signed on, and all of their lineal descendants, which are the modern Europeans who came from elsewhere. And it's admitted that they came from elsewhere. It is admitted. But what our problem is not getting straight on what a national is, which sets the stage, which is the Aboriginal Indigenous people of the land, of the land that these other people are coming to, of the land that these other people are coming to become a citizen of. So you're either naturalized citizen, subject citizen, or foreign corporation. Now, Moors are none of those. Moors are from the perspective of the land, the American land, the national. Moors are the ones that saying, that is speaking of when speaking of the American land, the country, the land. Now you've got these people coming over who are becoming citizens. Those are the citizens that you must be aware of not to molest you, which is what is happening. And the reason it is happening in respect to this discussion is because we are not aware that we are not the citizen that has been naturalized. We are not the subject citizen, and we're not the foreign citizen. We are not that. We are the Aboriginal Indigenous, the ones that make it up. When you look at even the analysis, what is the guy's name? John Adams' analysis, or the analysis of John Adams' letter back in 1790, right, 1780, I think it was, 4 years after they declared their independence. Clearly it says, at that time, loosely said, the states of America. Now, this is the key for all of us, because if you listen to Michelle Obama, she says into the United States of America. So when you guys are talking about, I mentioned earlier about the U.S. citizen, that's not the American citizen. That is not the American land. They're not talking about those who are by birth in the American land. Again, clearly, she's made the distinction. They're not here by birth. Now, there may be some people that say, well, I was born here. I'm talking about modern Europeans. But she told you, she gave all the keys. Trace back to your mother. Trace back to your ancestor, your parent, or some ancestor. And what these modern Europeans will find, they admit it, that they came over here on boats through Ellis Island, got naturalized, still getting naturalized. But as you guys said, that they are getting naturalized into the United States of America, but it is not the United States and it is not the American land. So those immigrants make up that for sure. So again, we have to understand why Prophet Noah Ali said to declare your nationality, and then enforce the law so that you're not molested by the other citizens. Well, these are the other citizens that we're talking. I mean, it's just so clear. And so we also, excuse me, we also, like, this has to be made so clear. I mean, Michelle couldn't have made it any clearer. Now, one of the things that you'll see on that title when you go to read it, it says Michelle's got citizenship wrong. Who do you think is saying that she's got citizenship wrong? It's these modern Europeans who think that because they, were mistreated or whatever and did the Declaration of Independence from the British Moors, right, that now that they have come over to form and to become, a citizen of America, under a certain citizenship rank. They think that now they are the American, period. And a lot of that is because Moors, the Aboriginal Indigenous, just will not declare their nationality and understand that they are home standing on this soil. That is really why they're doing it. Why not take it? You're not. They need a place. They're coming into as naturalized citizens. They know for sure that this is not their homeland. And Michelle made it clear in her speech. But Cujo mentioned that they're coming over and actually being naturalized into a corporation. They're being naturalized into something other than the American land. They're being naturalized under the banner of the U.S. of the United States of America, which is described in the Constitution as the two separate things. We, the people of the United States, do declare this Constitution for the United States of America. The United States of America was loosely used as States of America before they were formally formalized as the United States of America. And that was for all of these European immigrants. Every last one of them are under the United States of America. And that is the reason why, as Moorish, you cannot be a citizen of the United States of America. So the speech is on point, but the Europeans say she got it wrong, and I want to bring that out because they believe and want to believe and continue that this is their stuff, that this is their land, that this is that they are the Americans. She just told them she said in it, you're not the Americans. She said you're an American citizen. And that's where it goes into the various citizenship rankings. And an immigrant comes right in as the foreigner. And we've been telling you they are foreigners. Now, too many Moors want to be under the United States of America as a citizen and be the foreigner. Then you got other Moors that want to naturalize their brethren, in which, we went through this before. You can't be naturalized, Moors, period, into your own land. Now, if you want to become a citizen and they fooled you with an American citizen, but you're coming under a corporation, if that's what you wish to do, then that would be what you wish to do, but that's not what's happening. That's not what's good because those people are foreigners. Now, I just want to say this and I conclude. When you become a citizen of America of a different rank other than the national, the Aboriginal Indigenous, when you become that, the first thing is that you lose certain powers. You don't have any political power. How can you have political power and also the power of the resources of the land of someone else's land? In a situation where you are becoming a citizen of a corporation, there's no way that has anything to do with the land other than you are occupying that land at that time as a naturalized citizen or a subject citizen or a foreigner. And again, I go back. That's why Prophet Ali said, do your due diligence so that you are not molested by these people. So props up to Michelle, because she basically told the truth. But at the same time, her and her husband are the president, and of her husband is the president of the corporation called the United States of America. That's his job position, but that doesn't mean that there's that it overrides the law of the land, the Constitution, and it doesn't. That she just gave is proof. But if you don't know the difference between the American national by birthright and the citizen, you could get real confused in this.
Islam. And just to add on, November, I think this is just another reference, so we can know that they're letting the Moors know what's up if the Moors have ears to hear. On November 20th, 2014, President Obama on immigration.
That's it.
Scripture tells us that we shall not oppress a stranger, for we know the heart of a stranger. We were strangers once too. My fellow Americans, we are and always will be a nation of immigrants. We were strangers once too. And whether our forebears were strangers who crossed the Atlantic or the Pacific or the Rio Grande, we are here only because this country welcomed them in and taught them that to be an American is about something more than what we look like or what our last names are or how we worship. What makes us Americans is our shared commitment to an ideal that all of us are created equal and all of us have the chance to make our lives what we will. The ideal that is shared amongst all these people is the enforcement of the Constitution. That's the contract, quote unquote, the commitment that people who say they're going to be American have to uphold. But then, if they're talking about some constitution with more than 10 Bill of Rights, they're getting violated. If they're talking about a constitution that has all these amendments, but there was no constitutional convention for those amendments, they're getting violated.
True.
And again, you have you have the catchword, Americans. They don't say U.S. when they're doing these immigration and naturalization and these things, because they can't give up that they're a private corporation. They can't give up that your countrymen who are prime ministers, presidents, kings, whatever, sold you to us. Because then obviously people are going to be like, nah, I don't want to be part of this. Where's the indigenous people at? Let me naturalize with them.
Right. Yeah.
Let them be the ones to naturalize me, because you guys are a private corporation. Why am I going to come from my republic across the Atlantic or the Pacific or the Rio Grande into a corporation? That's quite backwards.
Indeed.
But yeah, I'll yield the floor for now.
Indeed. With that being said, thank you, man, for tuning in with that. And we're gonna go. We're gonna go to our next caller. Caller 256-503. You're live on the air. Are you with us? Caller 256-503. You're live on the air. Are you with us, man? All right. Last call 256. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna go to our next caller. Caller 804. 921, you're live on the air. Are you with us?
Islam.
Islam, Noble.
Man.
This is Azad RVBey calling from, I guess we would call this Virginia.
You could just say North
basically-
Mexico.
From the Richmond
I can
area.
roll with that. Richmond area, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's northwest of Maxim. I know you heard of Shocklaholic before, right? Shocko slip, Shocko bottom, right?
Got you.
All right, but you know the etymology of Shocko bottom, like where it come from?
No.
Yeah. That whole area down there was called Shocklaholic. You know what I mean? The so-called Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, and it's a lot of history out there, fam. Just all them little words you see, like Shocko bottom, Shocko slip. Go ahead and do your research on them. You're gonna see they go right back to the to Moorish Asiatic Appalachians. You know what I mean? And even like right there off the James River, Kanawha Canal, all of these different things are Asiatic Appalachians of that territorial jurisdiction. Specifically for where you're saying you're at. Like, we know you're in North America, northwest of Mexico, but that's an Aboriginal Appalachian, Shocklaholic.
Shocklaholic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my biggest thing was today, basically, I talked to Brother Cujo a couple of weeks ago, and he had called me. We was talking about writing a writ for they wanted me to use the identification from DMV, and he told me to write a writ. So I don't know if you remember talking to me or not. But what happened today is I had joined a Facebook group, and this group, when I have the Continental flag from off the allodial card, identification card. And when I first joined the group, the guy, he came on and he said, do you know that that's not a Moorish flag? He said that's a European flag. And, my comment was back to him was, I forgot exactly what I said, but it was more on the lines of what kind of, card do you have? And are you a USA citizen or a national? Because I've been to a temple, and it kind of messed me up when I went to the temple because I seen things that I was not used to. It was my first time going, and I just wanted to see what it was about. And like I said, it's completely messed me up because on their card it said a USA citizen. I said, well, hold up. How is it that you all are USA citizens? But kind of get back to what I was saying about the card thing. The guy, he kind of, first time I'm joining the group and he accepted me, he just went in on that continental flag. And, I just want to know if you all had anything to add to that, because it just kind of messed me up, because that's the first thing he said to me. He didn't say hi. He didn't say anything. It was just, hey, do you know that's a European, not a Moorish flag?
But they got the Star Spangled Banner on their card, though, right?
Yes.
Right. like, look at that. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, that we got to go in any further. I'm just saying, we know what the cedar tree represents. We know why, you know what I'm saying, what that area they call Bunker Hill represents. We know when the Europeans came over here, you know what I mean? Like, one of the havens for the Christians that was fleeing, remember, they was fleeing persecution and prosecution. You know what I'm saying? The haven of it was what they call today the New England area. But most of that was called Massachusetts or beyond the Green Hills. You understand? So all of that that's a Moorish flag, man. They call it the Bunker Hill flag. But that's definitely a Moorish flag. You know what I mean? The Star Spangled Banner came a little later, fam. You know what I mean? But that's, if anything, the Star Spangled Banner represents the European or the Christian nations, or a contract between Moors and Christians. But that's not the primitive American or Moroccan flag. So yeah.
Yes.
Also for more information, definitely go on RVBey Publications. But analyze Are You in Denial of Your Ancestry Part 2. I went in.
Yes, I have all that, and what happened, like I said, was I just had to pull up the message because I just wanted to kind of share it. But what I told him, I said I'm not discounting what you're saying. I said what he did is he sent me to a European site. So I put up that the Moroccan flag and the American flag, and I said that I have done my research, and I actually have the what is that? I want to make sure I'm saying it right, but I got it from the RVBey website. Oh man, I wish I could share with you, but like I said, I know exactly what I want to say. It's just not coming out. It's on my phone, but it's the lessons book. It's the lessons book, and in the lessons book, it talks about the one union, between the Moors and the Europeans, and the dollar and all that stuff. So I sent him that, right, and he said I'm familiar with that. He said it looks like Brother Taj authorized material. He said Rome does have its hands in the whole scheme, and I was like, what? I joined the wrong group and I got out of there.
No. This is a lot at work, right? Monday night, we had the show with Brother Ramiel, where he had the Grand Sheiks on there, and we're talking about, unity. And the question came up, how do you know a real temple from a fake temple? And then on Tuesday's class, what I missed on Monday's class was adding on that as soon as they talk about, Taj Tariq Bey don't follow him, that's a sign. So Here's an outside individual, right, that I spoke 2 weeks ago, nothing about what we're talking about right now, and he's verifying that the messed up individuals in the Moorish Science Temple that are causing a disservice to the Moorish movement are the ones that do what this brother just expressed. You give them facts, and they're telling you about some individual and not refuting the facts.
Nope.
Right? He's going to say, oh, yeah, I know about that, but that's Taj Tariq, whatever. What do you... That's not even relative. Bunker Hill is 17 something. What's Taj have to do with Bunker Hill? It's 1700s.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Right? So as soon as they go there, as soon as you see them start, taking shots at your master teachers or whatever, know that those people work for the other side, especially if they have turbans and fezzes on, have holy Qurans, have buildings called Moorish Science Temple of America. Oh yeah, and another thing that they do is with regard to the flag is that they don't want to show allegiance. They don't want to hold up their obligation that their Congress, as far as the Moorish Science Temple of America, Adept Chamber, leadership, whatever, those guys are Congress. Right?
True.
So what they did was that they took the Bunker Hill flag, which represents Congress, out of the temple and moved over the Stars and Stripes. Right? So when you go to a temple and you see them have the Stars and Stripes and the Moroccan flag, and then the middle is empty, you just have one flag on each side, that's a fraud. Because the Stars and Stripes is supposed to be between the Bunker Hill flag and the Moroccan flag.
Okay.
That's how it's supposed to be set up. When you walk in there and you look behind the podium, that's what's supposed to be there.
Yep.
Well,
right?
I can't tell you.
They got rid of the Bunker Hill flag because remember, don't forget that the iconic symbol of the Bunker Hill flag is the evergreen tree, which Lebanon also uses. Because they're a republic too.
Yeah.
Under the jurisdiction of Moors. So you have the evergreen tree, which also represents the pineal gland, because the acorn comes from that tree.
I understand.
So for them to take that out and try to relay to people that you don't need that, or that's European or whatever, they're cutting you off divinely.
Yeah.
There's other ways to attach. There's other ways to attach to the divine, right? But that way, you attach to the divine in ways that can't be told in words. Because what color is the evergreen? Green. Green is Venus. Green is the first principle. All that. So there's a lot that they took out, which is why they're doing their little damage control right now of attacking active Moors. Because it's really damage control. Because they can't really stop it, because the information that they were supposed to be putting out is now available to anybody because the Aquarian age. So they can't pretend like they didn't have the info. Like he told you, I know about that. You know what I mean? Try to pretend like he gives some add-up or something like that. Oh, I know about that. You ain't know about nothing.
Styling, though, right?
You know what I'm saying? Styling with a fez on. This is not styling. This is culture.
Well, what he did tell me is
fashion statement.
What he did tell me is he said I am not a Moor, and that's when I completely said I'm in the wrong group, because when I looked at the symbol, he said he wasn't a Moor, and I was like, hold up, this group, it clearly said Moors of Harlem, and it said some other stuff, and I'm like, what? I was like, I just got out of the group. I just counseled or whatever it was and got out of the group. But, I asked somebody, because the last thing he said, I didn't know exactly what it meant, but he said, shaking my head, I think, and then it said, ak, or something like that.
No. Do you comprehend why he said that he's not a Moor?
Well, no, because like I said, I know what a Moor is, and, just the conversation that we was having, I was asking him, I said, are you a national or are you a USA citizen? And then he responded back, no, I am. I said, no. Okay, hold on, I looked at it wrong. I have to apologize to the brother. It says, no, I am a Moor. And he said, a foreign national non-citizen. So he said he's a foreign national non-citizen.
But he's a Moor.
That's what he said. I read it wrong.
Right. Yeah, even if you read it wrong, the fact that you read it right even makes it more hypocrisy than when you read it wrong. It would have been better if you said that I'm not a Moor.
Yes.
Right.
Like, how are you going to say that you're a Moor, but then say that you're a foreign? And then say that you're a non-citizen on top of that.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
confusion,
Crazy.
bro.
But give thanks for that, bro. We appreciate that. Well, that's a good one.
Yes, sir.
That's a good one.
And actually, I learned from you all when a couple of shows back, I had to go back and listen to one of the old calls, and I think I was kept saying gentlemen, and you all were saying don't say gentlemen, say noble, and you know that's me learning because I mean it's all a learning process.
Mm.
Indeed. That's peace, bro. That's peace. Cool indeed. Well, thank you for tuning in and chiming in with that revelation, man. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, that's how you know right there. They got the Star Spangled Banner, and they trying to discredit a flag, a Moorish flag. Then you already know something is not right. So with that being said, we're going to take our next caller, fam, and we highly thank you for calling in.
And then, well, one more thing to add on to it, regard to Bunker Hill.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most, just go check for yourself. One of the most famous quotes from the American Revolution is "Don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes."
Yes.
Yeah.
And
right,
then they're gonna be talking about oh yeah, the ammunition's running low, save the ammunition.
Yeah, say that.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I think I remember that. Yeah, you are absolutely right. I did want to add before you all go to the next caller. I went to a comedy thing. I don't normally go out, but you know, I went to a comedy thing and I showed them, you know, my card, and the guy was like, he said, "What is this?" You know, he's never seen it before. That's what got me to, you know, make a copy of it, you know, so I can, you know, color it out or, you know, tape what I didn't want to be seen. And I made a copy of it because I was going to post it. You know, I was like, man, I can't believe that, you know, we don't know, you know, a lot of us don't know what this is. You know, well, a lot of other, you know, non-conscious don't know what this is because they're not conscious to things that's around them. They only know DMV identification, you know, and that's kind of sad in this day and time.
Yeah. And what's worse than that is what we were saying even on Tuesday. The fact now they're trying to make the children get de facto identification cards. You know what I mean? Like the children, fam. Like it's just crazy, bro. Like and it's not even identity. It's just de facto. And then you got to think, a child really can't contract. It can't make its own choices, like in the civil arena yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, it's really still not valid, even on that. Like, let alone it's not identity. You know what I'm saying? It's not an identification card. It's none of those things. But the fact that they're trying to like, you know, force that nom de guerre or the fictitious misrepresentation.
Contract.
Yeah, but it's not really though, because a child can't make a contract. A minor can't.
Wow, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
As you said, the minor. Did you catch the part on the card under the picture? It said unable to sign.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? There you go. There it is. Bro. Unable to sign, man.
Unable to sign with the signature. How's that a signature? Right? So they're gonna put that for a signature, but then they're gonna say Moors can't reserve their rights on contract. But they're gonna have for a signature unable to sign as the signature.
Wow.
Right. Right. And it's not identity, but just imagine what I'm saying. Like, you know, when and I guess I can speak for all of us because this is relatively new to me hearing this. Like, I mean, except for like national identifications, those are official. You know what I'm saying? But like, when I was, they didn't even you didn't even have an option for ID until you turned like 17, 18, like that. You know what I mean? They wasn't even trying to give you one unless you had like school ID or something like that. Now
or fake ID.
Yeah, a fake ID. Right. Excuse me, because they're not IDs. Now they like anybody could get it. You know what I'm saying? That anybody could get straws man now to get up real quick. And that's basically what it is. That's what they doing, man. Sad. I gotta examine it a little more, but it's just, I don't know, it's just to let you know the state of affairs where we at today, man. They're really thirsty. And I don't know, it's a lot of action.
And remember too that they're only thirsty because we let them feed.
Say that again, Moor.
The only reason that they're thirsty is because the people let them feed. The people put their veins up for IV. The people put their neck up to get sucked. The people just, you know what I mean, go to the club and dance on each other and raise all this sexual energy and have this beast feeding. And they've been feeding for generations.
Right.
With no challenge whatsoever. People just putting their neck up. Dracula's just like, hey, all right, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna put your neck up around Dracula, what do you expect?
Right.
You know? And we have to get out of that, you know, complacent ignorance. You know, that we're just gonna sit there and know that we're getting vampired or whatever, and we're just staying there getting vampired. You know what I mean? Like, crazy people need to come back to their senses.
Islam, I like that. I like the show that you had. Like, not to kind of to switch gears, but the last Candy. I want to make sure I'm saying it right because I know I have it in front of me now. I don't want to. I don't like saying the wrong things, you know. But your YouTube channel. You had me researching, and that's all I've been doing today. Just researching, you know, the stuff that you was talking about on the show.
That's the point. That's the point right there. You know what I mean? Take nothing for face value. Check and double check, triple check, quadruple check, just to be sure. And in you checking, you're gonna find out so much more stuff that it's like you have your own show.
Right. Indeed.
Straight.
Revelation.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, but thank you for that. I swear I didn't know about the Shako. I heard of Shako Bottom. You know, I've been down there, but most definitely I'm gonna do my due diligence here.
Well, we know.
Yep. And right there, because it's right off the James River. They used to have a quote unquote slave market right there where that market used to be. Where you see that sign, I don't know the actual name of the street, but it's by the train station. You'll see Shako Bottom.
Yeah, they have a burial ground down there.
Oh yeah, but it's a lot of it that's not even marked. Like a lot of that stuff is built on like unmarked Moorish graves. Like, you know, I mean, like Moors were buried, like you would get buried in the earth. But what happened was they just built over top of it, like they did a lot of different places. You know what I'm saying? Because
my grandfather, he actually, my great grandfather. No, my grandfather. He actually built 95. So they actually talked about the bodies that they were actually digging up as they built 95 through there.
There you go, man. There you go. And man, you out there. It's a lot of rich history out there, bro, in the strangest places. But just all those different things, they'll speak to your spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Shako Bottom. Yeah. Indeed, man. So ride around with your eyes wide open and just little things you see, just research it. You know what I mean? How did it get its name? They got different portions for different parts of quote-unquote town, if you will. A lot of those appellations are very linear to Asiatic appellation. So research that.
Yeah, brother Kudo, you had me looking up the Larry T. Evans, man, and that's some wonderful stuff.
Yeah, that's proper.
Yeah,
that's proper.
Yeah, I know y'all been talking to me enough, man. Y'all go ahead to the next caller, man.
All is well, bro. Thank you for tuning in and calling in with that, bro. All right, so we're going to take our next caller. All right, thank you, Noble. All right, caller 347-860. You're live on the air. Are you with us?
Islam, love, peace, freedom, and justice. Robert Royal Dunn L, Northwest of Maxim. Peace and love.
Noble. Peace and love, man.
Cujo and Mizrael. How are y'all this evening?
All is well, Moor. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
Doing well.
Great. A bit troubled about the fact that all this light, and it's not new to me, that I'm always on top of so many things and in so many different circles, and then I can't speak on it because it seems that the circles can't seem to conceive the full picture or the fullness of the picture that I keep seeing, and I can't figure out why, but except that I see how everything just keeps coming all around and bringing it right back to the center. And I came on a little bit late, but I believe I did hear Brother Cujo speak on imitate I, the prophet, and that was and gives a most profound connection to some of the things I'm seeing that may appear to be unbelievable, but they have a significance to it in terms of the concept that Brother Mizrael read on in chapter 3, to seeing all the things that are bound and connected. And I said all that, just to say that that skit from Michelle and the truth that is embedded and the other side of the truth, or the double talk within the truth, or in other words, the truth is always there and is blocked out by some of the hearts and intent and the mindset, so that where you're sitting, from where you're sitting, and you can see all that she said, but I doubt if any of the, I'll call them the 85% who really don't know and really haven't studied or really haven't been looking at anything because they're too busy going along to get along and all that nonsense, I guarantee you that they don't see as clearly as what we see when we hear her talk, when we hear that skit. And, so that's the same confusion and the same illusion and drunkenness, I call it, that the prophet came to bring us up out of. Now, recently I was, over the past 2 months, I was going over and over some of CCY's work on the episodes and getting a fullness of the understanding of the Yaku story and so forth, and its application and its unfoldment and how it deals with what's going on now. And the most significant thing about it is about how he explains how the so-called followers of white supremacy and all these U.S. corporations, how they came outside of what was given to them as an adopted nationality. And therefore, they would be, considered the same as Negro, Black, and colored. And I hope I'm not taking us off course, and I hope y'all following me here. But what I'm saying is that meanwhile, there's something going on in the total arena. They have this whole global reset thing going on, right? And they have this whole, like this month, September 30th, that's supposed to be the last or the end of the whole fiscal budget for the U.S. corporation. That's it. And the 501c3 has been called in. Now, the significance of that lies in the connection to the Yaku story as far as what I'm seeing. Because, again, when you know who you are and you can pick up your nationality and walk with it and know what you're entitled to, then, for instance, as a Moor, the prophet holds a mandate. The mandate is up. It will not be renewed. Now, how it comes about is what I'm seeing that the global reset has. And the way that it was done was in a similar manner where I would say a brutish Moor, in a sense, but even more than that, just I would more so say the bloodline of the Yaku extension took the right under that extension, went into the world court and took it over. Called everything into check, from the Pope to the Queen, everything. So that, and utilizing the adoption is more or less claiming under the Republic. And the only thing is it's about Texas. And when I looked on ancient maps, there was no Texas, unless it was in a different language, and I just started making it, but I don't see why even in a different language Texas would be spelled so much longer than the word I saw versus what Texas is. But I'm saying all that to say I'm seeing some dots, some clear dots connected in terms of the imitating the prophet portion of how things are being going into effect. And Brother Israel, you know that one of my major concerns was how to protect those that are still asleep and can't seem to wake up. That has been always part of my journey. And with what is coming about in terms of the replacement of the one system with another system, that's what's going into effect. And it sounds like going back into the same thing, except that if we remember that everything came from one thing in the first place, and that there is a righteous side to everything, that, and there's a way to operate within everything. And as I say, the truth is always there, but the heart has, and the mind's eye have to be open to encapsulate it. Now, last week I had put together something that I had planned to email to each of you guys to get some input on it to see. But just right now, I was just bringing it out in terms of to show you or share with you how, you know, that panic, it's a greater panic now. You have New York City talking about get your New York ID. You have, I mean, it's just getting wild. The other day I saw Dominican Republicans filling out a citizenship paper. I didn't get a chance to see whether it was talking about U.S. or what, but I tried to explain to him that, you know, the American continent is made up of North, South, Central America, and all the adjoining islands. I think you need to, you know, check on some information instead of wasting your time with that. Plus, as I say, knowing that this is really down to the last month of this system, and we Moors who are, you know, I'm sure there's many of us who are in tune with what we're doing, but I don't know how many of us are really ready to handle the ship.
Well, you know, the reality of our Moors ready is going to be demonstrated in what happens with the ship.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's fair to say, except that I don't want the ship to go down.
No, but I mean you can't prevent it. It's going down. It's not. It's going down. You're not preventing it. It's either the people consider what Moor's been telling them since Noble Drew Ali came on the scene, or they're going down with the ship. Like that's where it's at right now. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna assist people en masse because this doesn't work like that. You know, just like you went to the brother and tried to put him on to, you know, what are you doing filling that out? You know what I mean? That doesn't qualify as anything legitimate.
Yeah, and it was
like that, and that's on a low level. That's on a one-on-one filling out a form with somebody that is claiming authority that they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the time right now is for Moors to band together right now. Where Drew Ali said, you think you need yourself now, you're going to need each other more later. Later is now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you know, we go from the perspective of, if people want this, they'll come for it. I don't got time to be, you know what I mean, sitting around waiting for people to come proclaim their nationality. Like, that's not that. I'm not waiting for people. You know what I mean? Drew Ali said, put the charter on the wall, wait a half hour, and leave. They're lucky if they're getting a half hour if nobody comes in the door, or wait an hour and a half. They're lucky if they're getting an hour and a half. You know what I mean? And most of the times, you know, when we go over an hour and a half, it's because one individual said, you know what, I'm gonna go to class today or whatever. You know what I mean? 4 individuals said they're gonna come, you know, but it's not no situation where, all these people are going to come find out. It's past that. That was what 1913 was for. That's why there was millions of people in the Moorish movement back then. Where are they at right now? Negro, black, colored people, and all these other stuff.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
I would just add on this too to the brother's question. He said, "How do we protect those that are asleep?" I would say the best thing you could do is wake them up. You know what I mean? Like, so they could protect themselves. You know what I mean? Like, because you can't. I mean, you can, but the best thing you could do is give them information. And outside of that, if you're making some unity moves or something like that, naturally you're gonna have their back. But I mean, when you ask the specific question, how do you protect those that are sleeping? I think Khalil Gibran said it the best. He said, if you see a slave sleeping, don't be afraid to wake them up because they might be dreaming of liberty. Like he said it like that. So, like, that's really all. Huh?
Who was that? Who said that? Alam bin Graf?
No, Khalil Gibran in his book, The Eye of...
Think of that name for the longest. That was one of my first spiritual books that took me off the map.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's really the best thing to do is just wake them up and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Throw them some reference points. You would throw somebody a washcloth who was running late and a toothbrush if they didn't have it and let them do their thing. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, you can't keep washing people up. You know what I'm saying? They got hands. They got eyes. They got arms. You know what I mean? All you could do is give it to them and let them do what they're supposed to do. And just assist, if it's any questions. But, yeah, don't let yourself get drained is all I'm saying. Like, do what you're supposed to do. But, like, don't get drained. You know what I'm saying? If you know about Asiatic culture, you know about Bodhisattva, which are those who, never really, like, they could reach nirvana. They never really do. And the reason why they don't is because they always looking out for others, and they never get to nirvana themselves. It's not a bad thing, but Noble Drew Ali came to take us a degree higher than that in the boxes, Bahid boxes. You know what I'm saying? Whereas he said, I gave you enough to save a nation. Now just go save yourself. He took you a degree higher. So, you know what I mean? Like, you got to know what he was saying. Do that, but also don't lose yourself in the midst of it. You know what I mean? Because you look around, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to wake up. You got to wake the sleeping up. It's like you'll find yourself surrounded by a bunch of zombies if you don't wake nobody up. Like, so that's really what it is, man.
And if you've seen Walking Dead, you don't want to be surrounded by zombies.
Yeah. The Father said nature used to say, how do you handle a falling star? You have to let it go.
Yep. But then remember, if the star's falling, you don't want to be putting any energy on it either because it's falling.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to hex yourself. You know what I mean? And people want to go out and look at moons and all that stuff, and they don't even know you're not even supposed to look at that moon like that. You're supposed to put on and you know what I mean? Put all your sins on the goat and slap the ass and send that goat running.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're finding ourselves. We're coming into ourselves. So, it's gonna take some work and studying and making sure that we know for self. You know what I mean? Comes back to the same thing about, you keep searching for nirvana, and, you know what I mean, you have people who are, really out to bring you down. But, out of a good heart and all that stuff, we help them still now. Like, it's cut off people time right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's cut off people time right now. If you're still talking about, oh, yeah, you know, every time I talk to them, I feel drained after. You still talking like that right now? And on top of that, you don't have nationality? You're done for. I mean, you better have a nationality so you have a shield to protect yourself when these vampires, zombies, or whoever start showing themselves. Because that's another thing that's going to start happening in the Aquarian age. You're going to be seeing a lot more spirits running around, a lot more stuff falling off the bookshelf or whatever. You know what I mean? No breeze in here, and stuff's falling over.
Well, yeah, again, this is a desperate moment. This is a desperate moment for a great many who, you know, are stuck in zombieism and thought it would last forever. They didn't realize that the sun was going to rise with healing in its wings and burn their ass up. Pardon my French. But, I mean, it is significant. The significance within it, to me, is in terms of when we challenge something now, we have to know where the challenge is being heard as opposed to where it might have used to be heard. For instance, with this whole thing that's taking place, the UN is not the same UN that we think it is anymore. With what's taking place, the U.S. courts are not going to be the same U.S. courts anymore. The world court is not going to be the same world court anymore. This is a portion of the application of flowing with the energy that, you know, is part of that higher level that the Prophet brought us. And now, you know, so as consoles, I say, and as in propria persona significance, I'll say, and as an active Moor, there are things that we have to stay on top of so we know where we're going and where we're sending others.
Oh, one second more. We still have 11 cutoff, Ms.
Say again?
Islam, I was just about to say, the live internet feed is going to end in about a minute and a half. So I just want to thank all the internet listeners for tuning in. And to go back and get this last hour, just go back to the archives. You know what I mean? And you can pick up what you missed from here, if you will. But wait till after 12 because, you know, you won't get the whole thing. Islam, and thank you all for listening.
Islam?
Yeah, more. Yeah, you can continue.
With that being said, we're going to go to our next caller. And oh, my fault. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom. You was about to say something. I apologize. So, that on my fault.
Oh, I thought Brother Cujo was gonna respond or something, but
no, I was just telling you that you could continue.
Yeah,
to get that announcement for 11.
All right. So what I was sharing with was that the change that's gonna take place by the end of this is in accord with the change that was said would take place according to the mandate. Now, I don't hear much talk. I haven't heard much talk in our circles about the mandate, but all I'm saying is that we know that the prophet, although he was for us personally, he was also a world prophet. And we know that the changes that he said would take place one way or the other. And so all I'm saying is that now because I still have to catch up on a lot more of CM Bay's. He's the one who did the Clock of Destiny and everything, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's CM Bay, bro. Definitely CM Bay.
And so I have to catch up on more of that. And I'm looking around. I have different, the books from the school, but I never see where I've got the Clock of Destiny 1 and 2. And I thought that was strange. Really. But, another interesting thing, just want to switch a little bit, because, that time factor, the 580-something years difference, I'm really beginning to look into how that is really affecting stuff. I'm just beginning that search to see how, but what I became aware of was reading the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, and the preamble shows us that it was recorded in 1200. So that tells us that then 1787 was actually 1200, which is a difference of the 587 years, which would mean that then the real birth of the prophet would be in 1299. The time that he brought the knowledge back was 1326. The time that he called the mandate in was 1341. And the time that he went to the higher plane was 1342. And we are in 1428. And now the same way those things, everything has to be in terms of my study now, because of, how that hit me and struck me. It means that I have to, you know what I'm saying? When I go study now, I got to relook at a whole lot of things and see how things fit in and what I missed because of that altercation. Because there's a lot of information and knowledge that just flies by us. But, like you say, study, right?
Word. Thank you for adding that on, bro. We highly appreciate you sharing your wisdom tonight, bro. Highly appreciate that. So keep studying.
I appreciate y'all for being, and I had missed the anniversary again, but if I'm not mistaken, is Brother Cujo, he used to be up in front of the room there at the class.
Nah, we didn't get Cujo in the building yet. That's a why you doing that. Not yet.
Soon.
Was there another brother named Cujo then that used to be up there? Because that's who I thought he was.
Nah, bro.
Always let you know that, all right, you know the truth, and you know that you're going to be dealing with a lot of places that don't know the truth. So, you have to know how to stay calm. You're not going to make an argument. So you're going to go and, speak to somebody in charge and get it settled even before you go to the counterman or something, You remember that brother who spoke like that? And
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know of any other Cujo, that taught at that class. I mean, unless, they got I don't know. Some people I don't know, man. I hope nobody out there trying to steal Cujo identity. That's
no, this brother used to actually be in front of the room. I'm telling you. I thought it was Cujo. But anyway, I love you guys. I thank you for the time. I thank you for being there. I thank you for the constant study. My brother Mizrael, you always, man, I tell you, the stuff you go into and study and bring it about, you really exemplify, I'll say, that whole art and idea of study and the wisdom that you bring out. Man, who would believe the years that you only have to have done all that? So you had to have been here before. And I just thank you for being. And I say peace and love.
Peace, Moor.
Thank you, folks. Peace and love, Moor. Thank you. All right. With that being said, just chiming in. Thanks again, Nova. All right. Cool. Right. We got Mother Ana Eid on the line. Are you with us? Ana Eid.
Yes, I am. Islam. Great. Islam. I was listening to the show, and I just wanted to make a few comments because we can get into this place really that we need to think about. But before I get into that, I just want to say the brother made a comment about the United Nations is not the United Nations that it used to be, and also about this so-called global reset. We've been hearing about a global reset since 2000, and I just, we really got to understand government, all right? We are more Americans. We are the nationals. Our government is the Great Seal. So whatever is going on with the so-called global reset, it's got nothing to do with us. If there is a reset, it would have everything to do with this United States of America getting back on the de jure government and not the de facto government, the Republican government and not this democracy. So, we need to not really, on one hand, yeah, we do need to pay attention to some things, but, we need to really be clear what our position is. We are more American nationals. Our government is Great Seal. And we have to be clear that if there's some cleaning up that's got to get done, it's being talked about in these de facto venues, it's got nothing to do with us. This is why the prophet said, look, it don't matter what it looked like, all going to end up in the hands of the Moors in the end. And he also said that we need to put away stuff so that we can be secure for at least 3 months, because when these modern Europeans get clear, and they are, about really how they got over here, whose land this is, and what their position is as it relates to the nationals of this land and the American citizens that Michelle just talked about, they're going to be pissy mad. So you don't want to be on the streets when they're running around like chickens with their heads cut off. You don't want to be out there. So this is why the prophet said, store up at least 3 months so that you need to lock up in your house while they run crazy. You're safe. All right? And also, you made another comment about, how are we going to save all those other people? How about we focus on saving ourselves? And that sounds selfish, but I see a lot of people who really need to do some serious work on themselves. They try to go out there and minister to the people. That's like the blind leading the blind. And if we were to do even a little bit of study, and we would realize that this is not about going out and being like these Christian churches and having some revival meeting and knocking on people's doors and stuff like that. This is about, if you can sell, you want to change your internal energy, and as you just walk amongst the people in your everyday life, your energy alone is going to help to wake them up. Not your words, your energy. That's what we need to work on elevating. Now, what you can do as you're walking amongst the people, hand out flyers, one-page flyers with some case law. We got the 13 points of law that's on the website. Hand them out to people. But let them take it and go study it on their own, and you continue in your own studies, because you can get so off track trying to save somebody else, and you haven't even saved yourself. So let's put some things in perspective, because as I think it was Cujo said, if you get too into, it's very easy for people who really are not ready for this information, and that's all right. But if you try to pull people who are not ready for this information, they are going to suck your energy completely away from you. And you're going to be no good to anybody. So let's be a little bit more realistic, and let's really focus on getting ourselves 100%. And remember, read the prophecies and the statements, because as much as we like to save everybody, the prophet has already told us that there is only going to be a handful of people who make this next transition with a couple of things left over. That should tell you something. And I'll leave with this. Sometimes people are not ready to wake up at this time because they agreed to not wake up so they can be the catalyst for you to wake up. And they know this, and they're all right with waking up maybe in the next incarnation. So let's do what Spirit tells us to do, and I think we'll be just fine. I know we'll be just fine, because it's already been prophesied. Islam.
Islam.
Indeed. Thank you for adding that on. For sure. All right, so words of wisdom. Cool. Before we go to the next caller, Cujo, you want to add anything else on?
No more. We could go on.
Thank you again, Anna E. All right. Caller 773-970. You're live on the air. Are you with us?
Islam.
Peace,
yes,
Moor.
sir. This is El Haj Malik Bey. Just want to say peace to the panel. Appreciate the show tonight. These words of wisdom is that I've been studying for about a year now. It's really helped me out a lot in my life. It really changed everything for me. I had some traffic issues to dealing with a lot of other issues, but because of this information, I shared it with my cousin. Okay, and then we began this journey together. And, we've been exercising our right to travel, exercising our tax exemption. Matter of fact, I did it today. Got receipts in my pocket right now. I understand that this actually works because this is real. This is not a belief. This is fact. But I'm sad to report that my cousin has died. He transcended on the 14th, okay? But before he transcended, he was dealing with this, with his mortgage. And he actually took it all the way to where they reported on his credit bureau 0. And then he was dealing with the collection agency. Then he took care of them with some writs. But before he passed, he was telling me that something was going on with the court. But now I traveled near the territory of Atlanta, and I'm here with the family. His service is on on this Saturday. So I'm just putting a request out there. I had a testimony and a request. If it is possible, next week sometime I send an email out if I can, get a second pair of eyes on this information dealing with this mortgage. Because he was dealing with one section, I'm dealing with another. We were working together, helping each other to get even more understanding. And my right hand has just passed on me. So I'm not going to be long-winded, but if it's possible, sometime next week I send an email. This way I can get another pair of eyes on what he was working on with his mortgage. Because, this is amazing that, he actually made them submit. And but he was telling me there were some other things with the court that he had to handle. But I just need to make sure that I'm looking at this correct, because I'm not a homeowner. He was, so that's pretty much, if that is possible, if I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you already have the email information or no?
Well, I have a lot of emails. I've been looking at RVBey. I look at that all the time, listen to the blog talk. Cool Joe, I'm always looking at you. Brother, keep it up. Ms. Ryan, I swear, Ross, Sister Ross, Anna E, Tosh, Tariq, you all really enlightened me, and you've helped us out tremendously. I have emails, from the website, so I'm sure that I can find all of that. But I just want to make sure when I reach out, if I can just get another pair of eyes on this to make sure that, I'm handling this correct.
Absolutely, Moor. Like like we were saying, we might be able to point out some things to you for sure. But yeah, MHHS Sons of Allah at gmail.com. Also, KeenanLandMoors@gmail.com. And MHHS Eyes Wide Open at gmail.com. Along with
I actually sent an email to that one the other day, so I appreciate that.
Yup, and then you got all the RVBey Gmails are on there. Well, not all of them. Just send it to RVBey Publications at gmail.com. At gmail.com.
Okay. I definitely will do that. Now, I know that the writs that he has been sending out, I believe that he has been sending correspondence to you all already. And so, you may have all the documents that he sent, but, his mother is in a situation where she can't really go through his things right now. It's a lot going on, so I'm going to give it some time. But I know that, me and him were the only ones in our immediate family that jumped on this study, and now it's coming to light, and they see that this is, people, they think this and that, but, if you allow people to deter you from the road that you're taking, you can miss all of that glory, so to speak. But me and him stayed on this path, and we've seen results. And so I just want to make sure that what we have been working on, as far as his home is concerned, that nothing shady happens. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I understand. Definitely understand,
yes, sir.
Noble. Well, thank you, and put that in the caption, and you'll definitely be corresponding again. Man, I meant to let them out. All right, no problem. Cool.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And
I appreciate that.
For the
peace and love. I'm sorry?
No, I was just going to say the Canaan Line email is CanaanLandGuide@gmail.
CanaanLandGuide@gmail. Okay. I will definitely do that.
Email, and as well, with regard to the family, condolences and all that, but keep the Ministry of Death chapter in the Holy Quran.
Yes, sir.
With regard to where you are right now, because he probably, kind of sits better from that side.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Manifest, you know what I'm saying? So
yes.
It's not necessarily a loss.
Right.
It's an addition.
Right. I understand. I understand, overstand, all of that. And I feel his presence, and I know he's in a better place because he was dealing with a lot. I just, I don't want to get all emotional and all of that, so I'm going to cut it short. But I appreciate your time. You know what I mean? And thank you.
All right, brother.
Peace. Yes, sir. All right.
Peace and love, Noble.
Peace and love.
All right. Ooh. Our next caller. Caller 619-807. You're live on the air. Are you with us?
Oh.
Caller 619-807.
Yeah. The date was yesterday, right? Oh, you got, yeah, so,
619-807. Are you live on it? You're live on the air. Are you with us, though?
They're
not with you.
Nah, definitely not.
Revelation. Revelation.
Yeah, it was in revelation mode. But all right. Well, okay. Hold on. Pardon me. All right, we have one more caller. Caller 336-755. You're live on the air. Are you with us? 336-755. You're live on the air. Are you with us, man? Right. So we got one more caller. I don't think 336 is with us. And after this was
Islam?
About Islam. Peace,
this
man.
is Yusuf Nasir Bey calling from northwest of Mexico.
Islam.
Peace and love. Noble, how are you?
Oh, I'm great, man. I was just listening, and I wasn't going to chime in, but I heard the brother speaking about the death chapter in the Holy Quran, and you know him just losing a family member. Well, we just laid my mother to rest about a week ago. Not even a week ago, a couple of days. She died on the 31st, and we just buried her on the 8th. And that death chapter, I read it at my mother's service, and I wasn't able to read the whole thing. I just gave him a little bit of it, and it's so funny to see all the so-called bishops and pastors and stuff in the church. When I read that, I got tapped on the shoulder, and somebody asked me, where did you get that? Where did you get that? And I already knew they know where I got it from. You know, and it was just weird to be in that place, you know, and just see the fraud going on, just see how they keep the people so emotionally charged and everything. And I'm sitting there, and it was just so funny being back in church with the knowledge that I have learned, and just sitting there and just watching the fiasco, you know what I mean? Yeah, I was sad, you know, my mother's gone because she was a beautiful mother. She was A1. She was just great. But, you know, even in my sadness, I felt joy in my heart knowing what I know now, knowing that, you know, this journey is not, you know, it's not the end when we, you know, leave here, you know, and it just blew me away to sit there at the services and just witness how, you know, the people being so-called so Christian-y that they just know, you know, looking at my wife wrapped up all beautifully in her turban, and you know, and me and my feds, the stares we got, and you know what I mean? It was just crazy how certain people didn't want to speak to us. You know, it just really kind of blew me away.
Yeah.
But all is well. All is well. I mean, you know, it's a process, you know, up and down as far as my mother passing, because, you know, but other than that, man, I know it is what it is, and we all have to make that journey. So, you know, it's just a little harder when it's your mother, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I could imagine. That's crazy. But
other than that, you know, I'm good, and I want to thank Brother Cujo for giving me the direction to go ahead and read that. You know, it was funny though when I got done reading it. If they told me to hurry up and close that book and let's continue on, it was like they just wanted to, it was just weird. It was weird. And then I'm looking at the minister, you know, and he's dressed up, and I'm looking at his outfit, and it was just so masonically organized what he had on. It was just, and I'm like, wow, the only reason why he could wear that in front of the people is because they're so ignorant, they don't know what's going on. But he looked just like one of the cardinals, you know, one of the popes, and he had the whole gown on, the whole shawl, everything. It was just crazy. The only thing it wasn't red, it was black and red. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, you know, just the way they're leading our people, you know, the emotional high they keep them on. You know, it's the music, the dancing and singing, and which is all good, but it's what do you call it? Faith without works is dead.
Yeah. But that's why too they wear the black cloak. I mean, on top of it being of the Moors, you know, they reverse the energy, and that's really a black hole sucking the peas. You know, people don't even know what the hell's going on.
But what I gain from it, the joy I get, man, is the fact that I was able to tell my mother before she passed about nationality, who we really are. And it was a lot for her. She didn't want to hear it, but I just kept talking to my mother. You know, every time we got by ourselves, I just kept talking. But Allah gave me confirmation that she got it, because when she was sick in the hospital the first time and she came home, while I was there visiting her in the room, a Filipino doctor came in and treated my mom. And she looked at me. I got my fez and everything on. She looks at me, and I'm talking, and she's asking me questions, and I'm asking her, answering her certain things. And when I left and came home, my mom came home from the hospital, and she said, "Son," I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "You know that Filipino doctor that came in to see me?" I said, "Yes." She said, she asked me, was I your son? And she said, "Yes, that's my oldest son." And she said, "Well, you ought to listen to him because he knows what he's talking about." And that's what my mother told me by herself. So, but one thing I learned, Cujo, is the fact that when it said this is for the young and yet unborn, because at my mother's age, when you're so indoctrinated with all of this, and you've been brought up to believe in, Jesus is coming back to stop all this mess. He's going to pull you out in the rapture, and you ain't going to, there's nothing you can say to him that's going to, even though I'm giving her this information and she's getting a verification of it, she still can't let go of that indoctrination.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I'm just glad that she heard it from me, and, she took it to the soul plan with her. And my daughter, I've been trying to tell my daughter about nationality, and she told me something that blew me away. She said, "Dad," she said, "I know what you've been trying to tell me is real." I said, "Why do you say that now?" She said, "Because Grandma came back in a dream and said to me, that nationality is wonderful." And I was like, "What?" She said, "Grandma told me nationality is wonderful." I said, "Are you serious?" She said, "I dreamt that, Dad." And I was like, wow.
The young and unborn. There it is right there.
Something.
Yeah.
So, that's all I wanted to say, brothers. I'm not going to hold you up, but peace and love. I love you guys, and keep on doing what you're doing. Islam.
Peace and love. Islam, Moor.
Islam, Noble. Thank you, too. All right.
Peace.
All right. One more special caller. All right. And this will conclude our show. All right. So, hold on. Oh, hold up. My fault. I just had her in the queue. All right. Excuse me. That's just my fault. Got you. All right. Peace and love. You there? Peace and love. Are you there? Can't hear you. Yeah. Can't hear. So, but yeah, with that being said, man, I just, this has been a lot.
Here.
You know what I mean?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you are.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
I apologize. This is Sister Roz again, and I just had to make a comment. It's really from way back, but it's pertinent to the show for certain, in reference to the citizenship. And hit me after I heard the brother come on and say that he was in a temple and one of the members or the Grand Sheik or whatever told him that they were foreign nationals, right? And then suddenly it hit me. And for all of those who are in those temples and have their temple leaders, Grand Sheiks, assistant Grand Sheiks, members, what have you, say that, here's the reason why they're saying it. If you can understand why they're saying it, then you can accept the truth on what it is. They're saying that because they really, really they are foreign to the corporations. They're foreign to the United States of America because the United States of America is comprised of foreigners. But what they did, and Cujo mentioned it earlier, they turned their back on the continental flag because it gives them the responsibility of Congress. So at the same time, this is what they're doing now. They're turning their back on their obligation of being the nationals, but yet they got you coming there talking about declaring your nationality. But they're not acting as nationals. They're being lazy, really based on lack of knowledge or infiltration. You choose. Either one is not good, because they're saying, well, we're the foreign nationals here. No, they're not the foreign nationals. And this is the thing Moors need to understand. They are not the foreign nationals. By saying that, that is how we're giving up, continuing to give up the birthright. Because this land is what we are definitely not foreign to. You know, but we are foreign to what they're doing, but we are not the foreigners. So that's what they've done. They've chosen to be and act as if they are the foreigners coming from somewhere else to someone else's land. Now, what does that mean? That means the script has been flipped. When you're in the temple, they tell you that. They're flipping the script to you, my brethren and my sister, from your natural birthright and land, ancestral land. That's exactly what they're doing, because they're too damn lazy or unknowledgeable, or they're infiltrator agents against the movement, even though they're wearing all the garb and they're in the place, to actually take their place amongst the affairs of men. They do not wish to do that. They wish to operate like a private club, and they have the audacity to tell you they're foreigners. If they tell you they're foreign nationals, you should know right away they're some strangers. They're not doing the prophet's work, because the prophet told you to enforce the American Constitution, and you're not in it as the foreigner at all. And then Michelle Obama has enforced it again, America, and then those who become American citizens in America, you see, or to America, under America. And lastly, I heard him also say, I believe in that scene, someone said that the 501Cs are being cashed in. And, you know, Sultana Eid said already, said none of that has anything to do with us, which is why over the years we've been telling people, do not get a 501C, do not get a 501C. But how about that? You got a lot of temples that did, and a lot of people who have done it. Well, guess what? All those 501Cs have already been being cashed in. They were never meant for you to have. So since what you've done is under the jurisdiction of a corporation that is dissolving, that is falling, then yes, the 501Cs are going to be extinct, and they're going to cash them in, which means if you have a business under that, you're dissolved too. But you think you're not. You think you're doing the right thing. That also means all of these people who've been out here doing some birth certificate redemption under this fake jurisdiction or this fiction jurisdiction, you're also going to be cashed in as part of those fake of the corporation, which means even though there may be a brethren that looks like that is a more unconscious that's leading you to do that, they're leading you under the jurisdiction of the foreigners, which means that you're acting under the jurisdiction and doing actions that foreigners would do, because those who are American, who are nationals to this American land estate, would never sign up for that kind of stuff, ever, because they don't need to. So I just wanted to bring to it that it hit me after the brothers. I mean, when he actually said that somebody in the Grand Sheik of the Temple told him that they are foreign nationals, I mean, I thought I would fall off my seat, but then I tried to figure out the logic in it. Where are they getting that from? Why they're thinking that way? And that is why they're thinking that way. So now that you have that information, of course, check it out for yourself. And I hope that this show has really shown you the difference between a U.S. national that doesn't exist citizen, a United States of America citizen, and citizen period, and then the birth. Those are by birthright to the American land estate, which are the more American nationals. I trust that it has shown those differences and that we better understand what is being said all over, but what is specifically being said by those grand sheiks in the temple that you keep running to the temple, and you should, and it's understandable why you do. But if they tell you you're a foreign national, you need to run away. And the brother did the right thing. But I wanted to clear that up because it came clear to me after hearing what was being said. It's just laziness, infiltration, or lack of knowledge that they would say that. And one last thing. Also, someone said something about the ID and about you said that the child is too young to get an ID. That's why the condition of the child is based on the mother, and the mother would sign any identification or anything that is in regards to her child. So it is up to the mother to know what to do for the child, and that's what mothers need to do, and not allow them to put here's an ID, and it's not an ID, and it doesn't have to be signed, or signature not available, or unable to sign. That's ridiculous. So Islam to the family. I just wanted to add that. Peace and love.
Islam,
thank you. Peace and love for that. And that's true. The condition of the child is determined by the mother. So there you go. But with that being said, fam,
we hit that finish line. We hit that finish line.
Yo, word, bro. All right, so that being said, that's going to conclude. That's going to conclude our class for tonight, fam. Remember, Sister Standing on Law this Sunday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be back Tuesday to go back in on MHHS Eyes Wide Open blog and Cool Joe Canaanland blog every Tuesday as well. I know you'll be going in. And for the most part, that's the sequence of events that's going to be going on this week. And we just thank everybody for listening. You know, I'm glad we still did this, and still do this. I look forward to the next one. And
just to put out there too, because you know, 2 back-to-back callers with somebody that transition is you know, stuff's going on. So anybody else who didn't get a chance to call in, that's had, you know what I mean, transitions, you know, Sons of Allah sends our condolences to you and your family, as well as RVBey and all the other active Moors that are here. You know that you have support, even if it's not in the flesh. You know, you got supreme mind support from active Moors. You know what I mean? So we just want to put that out there in case anybody had any transitions and didn't get to call, or you know, didn't get to get certain things off their chest. You know, condolences to you. And as well, Islam to all the Moors. You know, appreciate the time and the energy, and always, you know what I mean, keeping in tune with what we're presenting. And it's a pleasure and an honor to do the show with you, Brother Miz. You know what I mean? It's always a blessing, yo. It's always a good jolt, you know what I mean, to get a Sons of Allah.
Indeed, bro, and vice versa, bro. I'm thankful, you know what I mean, to be able to do this. Really, really, like, it was a long day, bro. When I say I'm thankful to be here to do this, I'm thankful. You know what I'm saying? And, the feeling is always great. I'm just, you know, as much information we could give up, we here. That's what we do. And that being said, also on the note of the callers who called in with 2 people passing, I just wanted to make note that the brother James Bey, who was like a facilitator or host at the class in Philly, you know, Satin Rock class, he passed, and his funeral is tomorrow. I mean, the day after Saturday. So that's the case, man. I just, you know, like I said, I hope everybody live in peace. Whatever it is that brings you peace, you know, like, bring that. It don't matter what nobody else thinks. It don't matter what the person next to you thinks. As long as you're not doing them damage, do what you got to do for your soul. Like, you know, what was tailored for your life, because everybody can't live the same life as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So just whatever is best. Whatever is best. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid of nobody's opinion or judgment. If it don't fit you, then let them keep that. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to do what's best for you. And, you know, people quick to pass judgment. You know what I'm saying? They expect this from you. They expect that from you because they think you this, they think you that. It's all good, but you know what I mean? If everybody was to be put under a light, trust me, everybody, you know, could see something about themselves if they stop to examine. So, you know what I mean? I say that to say, be yourself and make your best decisions. Always take advice, but do what you got to do for you. You know what I'm saying? And Islam Noble. So with that being said, Moorish, peace and love. And thank everybody for listening. And, you know, we're going to spin our closeout music. And Sister Spinning on Law will be this Sunday, right back at you with more information, you know. So, again, Brother Cool Joe, peace and love. Keep doing your thing. And we'll see you again the next Sons of Our Lives, October 15th. And we will see y'all way before then, though. So, peace and love, fam. Have a great night. Better tomorrow. All right?
Peace and love.
All right.
King Boom. Dirty Moors still attempt to infiltrate the order. Active Moors are truth and take it to the corners. Across highways, past hedges and through borders. Move on dirty Moors like broken down waters. Watch out for agents and provocateurs trying to get next to the heads with the doctor's cures. They never pay dues and don't pay dues, contradicting with King Alfred to give clues like news. Noble Drew Ali died from Palemore blues. Prophet saved him his money before the floor fell through, and that's true. Even though I don't have proof, selling memory tells me don't fall for spook. Drop mental nukes, hanging from their own vine from the fig tree, looking up at them like Big B. No white flag or mercy for you fags. 5 point and pentagram is on our flag. Green, but not for cream. That dirty Moors took to throw off the balance of the Grand Treasury books, getting offers like high school ballers. Those that infiltrate are not Moors but robbers, robbing the people blind, deaf, dumb, and crippled. They can't tear this up, not one drop or trickle. No matter how hard they try to perpetrate the fraud, dirty Moors always fall on their sword.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. The noble Drew Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. The noble Drew Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. The noble Drew Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. The noble Drew Ali started dropping it.
Me nah play with uno so simmer and easy. From 19 how long, me see it's sleazy. So sick, it's measly and disgusting. Everyone stood there. The Moors did nothing when Drew was attacked. They took the covenant that they will protect him and have his back. Behind on dues by 4 months. Going to kangaroo courts to perform stunts. Temples versus temples. Lawsuits from inner fights. Not doing their job, 3,500 for birthright. Mufti Force left supposed to be in Gucci stores with God. Thank Allah for the Sufi Moors and Buddhist Nagas. Moorish mic renaissance, not rap sagas. Confusion clearer, empty battle scar wearer. Moorish nationality declarer. Straighten out the crooked ways, rap conduct squarer.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. The noble Drew Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. The noble Drew Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. The noble Drew Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. The noble Drew Ali started dropping it.
Let me strip them down, I'm the bone bearer. Negro, black, colored, minority, death preparer. Not the being, but the label attached. See me like Martin, going crazy, waving gas. Cause you call yourself black, that's a kick me sign on your life. Can't stab your enemy holding the blade of the knife. Numbskull MCs flow so dull that I'm pulling down Orishas like skull caps to torture the rapper, scissor sippers. Rapper CD scratcher, insert ripper. Call me Jack and get slapped though. Admiral when I flow, major like macro. Don't spit on a cameraman like Pac will, but beat the case like Black Bill but no lawyer. Ask Jim Carrey, liar, liars do nothing for you while they get rich and poor you. Make you follow magistrate orders that get the coke to snort from wood corners and blocks ghetto. All I see is rappers, dress codes, repedo, tight shirts, skinny jeans looking like heavy metal bands. I'm not Bay but L like Gred and Hands. I grab mics, no sweat in hands, with bursts like brands. I don't worry about getting scanned.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what drew our lead, we started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what drew our lead, we started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what drew our lead, we started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. To know what drew our lead, we started dropping it.
What up?